All right, Jack. Well, appreciate you taking some time out to chat here. From linebacker to linebacker, it's just fun for us to have a chance to catch up on what your season's been. First things first, I want to hear more about your story and how you got here to BYU. So you grew up in Kearns. Coming out of high school, you had offers to FBS schools, but instead you chose to go the FCS route and go team up with Jay Hill, Weber State. Talk me through your decision-making there and why Weber State over Utah State or Air Force or New Mexico like you had offers from.
Well, so originally, Gary Anderson was a big reason I was going up to Utah State. He was an influence on me. I actually grew up with his nephew racing BMX, so he was always a part of my life. And then once we got to high school, he started recruiting me, and so I wanted to go play for him. And once that coaching shift went up there at Utah State, Gary recommended Jay Hill, and I fell in love with him throughout the recruiting process. He always had a plan for me. He knew what he wanted in me, and we built a great relationship.
Okay, I want to touch base real quick on the BMX. Tell me more about that background, because I don't know if there's another football player on this roster that has a background in BMX. You raced and you were pretty deep into the BMX route, huh?
Yeah, so when I was like 3, my dad was looking for somewhere to race RC cars. He came across the local track down in South Jordan, and I went out and tried it one day. The next day, he spent like $500 on a bike, and my mom was like, all right, we have to stick to this now, so took off from there.
Okay, tell me, how does BMX translate to football? Or does it not?
I would say it does with as far as hard work and discipline, because in BMX, it's you versus you. Like when you're training, you don't have anyone to rely on. Like you can't slack here at all or else it's going to show on the track. So I'd say that translate here, just trying to do my 1/11th on the football field and making sure that my teammates can rely on me.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, so now you have Jay Hill leaves Weber State, comes down to BYU. You stay behind at Weber State for another 2 years, right? Talk through kind of what happened. You go into the portal this year, and all of a sudden you get a call from Jay Hill. Tell me what that conversation was like, trying to figure out whether you want to come to BYU or go elsewhere.
Really just kind of touching base back on like how he recruited me the first time, just saying he had this plan for me. He knew that I could play at this level, just hyping me up, and all the other coaches too, just having a plan for me and understanding what kind of player I could be. Really, I wanted to play for him when I hit the portal, so it was a good getting that first call from him.
Okay, so growing up, were you a BYU fan, Utah fan? Like how did that come into play at all?
Actually, I was a Penn State fan because my dad's from Philly, so I grew up watching them. I didn't really start watching college football big until like I started playing football in my freshman year. But once I got to that, I liked the Utah-BYU rivalry, and I cheered on both schools.
That's awesome. So you get to BYU in the spring, and you go throughout spring camp, go into summer camp, and next thing you know, you're named a captain, and you get this big C on your chest. Talk me through that. That's pretty unusual to be named a captain your first year in the program. Talk me through being a captain, what that means to you.
I mean, it means everything. Like you said, it was a short period of time that I was here, but all my teammates realized they could trust me and I could trust them. I'm not a super vocal guy, so I'm trying to get better at that still, but I try to lead by example and try to set the tone for what I feel like my teammates should follow too, and they set a great example so that I could follow them as well.
Yeah, I think the captain, I was fortunate to be named a captain in 2008, and it takes on more than just being a rah-rah guy. It's got to be on the field and off the field, right? And some guys are more vocal than others. And so with that being said, as a captain of the defensive unit, what is the identity that you wish to have for this defensive unit in 2024?
Just physicality and then all-out effort. When you turn on the tape, you should see all 11 guys running the ball, smacking everything, and making plays at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, if we make plays, stop the run, be physical, we're going to win games. Yeah,
and some of that, which we've seen play out so far this year, BYU only 11 sacks all of last year. So far, 6 sacks through 3 games. Talk about that. Has there been an emphasis on getting after the quarterback and providing more pressure? And I noticed that blitzes were kind of coming from all over, had some zone blitzes mixed with some man blitzes. Talk through kind of the approach that this defense has taken this year.
Yeah, I think the coaches have done a great job on emphasizing that we need to get home, and then also having a scheme that's everyone trusts and knows and believes more this year. They've had a year under their belt, so everyone kind of understands where blitzes are going to be coming from, how bad we need to have them hit. And then just having the pass rush coaches like Coach Chad, he's done a great job with all of us offseason. And then ultimately our strength coaches has helped with getting us stronger and faster in this offseason.
And talk about the goals as a defensive unit. Do you have goals that you guys have set that you want to attain this year? Obviously, the win-loss record is the most important, but what are some of the goals that you were trying to attain as a unit?
I mean, obviously we want to be the best in the conference. Coach Hill will give us specific goals based on each game, so those are some goals that we follow. In the linebacker room, we want to have 15 sacks total between all of us, so that's a pretty big goal for us.
All right, and what do you do to accomplish that? I'm curious. What's the mentality?
Just hit our blitzes ultimately, because at the end of the day, if we're all hitting our blitzes full speed, there's going to be some guys coming free and making plays.
Awesome. So as we sit here heading into Kansas State tonight, what's the team mentality? You're 3-0. I think you've so far exceeded some expectations from a lot of the outside people. We know that as players, our expectations are going undefeated every year, and we believe in ourselves. A lot of the outside people didn't feel like that was necessarily the case, but the team believes in yourselves. Tell me, talk me through the mentality headed into tonight's matchup with Kansas State.
We know that it's going to be a huge deal. They're a great team. They got a lot of threats, deep threats. They got a good running game. So we're just going to come in knowing we got to play our best. We got to be physical. They're going to be a physical team. We got to give out all effort, and we just got to trust each other. If we trust each person that's on the field, we're all ultimately, hopefully, going to be successful.
Awesome. Well, Jack, appreciate the time. Great job. Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.